everybody doing today? Good? Okay, so this is, make sure everybody's in the right place. This is track one, business development, and it's starting and growing a business. My name is Scott Atkinson. I'm going to be your moderator this morning. We have four distinguished guests here. One is as you can imagine, caught up in Houston traffic, so Jenny will be here shortly. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been doing small business consulting for 30 years right now, and I do a lot of work, in fact, with Tim Jeffcoat is one of our panelists this morning. Do a lot of work with Small Business Administration. My company is Statesman Business Advisors. We're about 25 people, and so my company concentrates on performing services mostly for banks, such as SBA loan packages and field examination work. But I've been working with small businesses, as I said, for about 30 years now, and do a lot of networking. Networking is important. It's great to see all of y'all out here today, because I know that's what you're trying to do, is network and learn and how to make your business better. So, and that's why we have our four panelists today with us. And let me introduce them. And it's going to be a question. It's going to be a question and answer format. I will ask a series of questions to each of them, and then at the end, we should have some time for questions for you to pose to them. I was instructed that I do need to get you out of here directly at 10:10 so that you can go back upstairs, because I believe the next session starts at 10:20. Panelist number one is Tim Jeffcoat. Tim is the director of the U.S. Small Business Administration in Houston. He oversees SBA programs and services in Houston and the surrounding 32 counties of Texas. Most of Tim's career has been private sector leadership roles in international business, marketing, and business development. Tim's career has required international assignments and global responsibilities. Tim's a graduate of Auburn University with an MBA. He also has a Bachelor of Science degree in marketing and a Bachelor of Science in music business. Tim was nominated for the SBA Ike Award. Is that correct? Ike Award in the category of MVP, Most Valuable Player. Has completed 4 iron distance triathlons and the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon. I did look that up yesterday, by the way. That's a fun. I think you're a little crazy, but okay. And teaches graduate classes in economics, marketing, and other subjects in his spare time. So that's panelist number one. Give me 1 second here. Panelist number two is Matt Snedecki.
Yeah,
I got
good.
that out?
Pretty
Okay.
good.
Currently serves as a program manager for the Skills for Small Business program with the Office of Employer Initiatives at the Texas Workforce Commission. Are you in Austin?
Yes,
Okay. This office oversees and manages the Skills Development Fund, which includes the Skills for Small Business grant. I know he's going to talk about that this morning. Prior to this position, Matt worked for the Office of the Governor under the leadership of Governor Greg Abbott. He was responsible for managing and coordinating operations and logistics for Governor Abbott's events statewide, nationally, and internationally. Matt graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in government from the University of Texas at Austin in 2011. He currently lives in Austin with his wife Ashley and their German Shepherd, Raiden. Okay, on to panelist number 3, who is Sue Phelan. Let me tell you a little bit about Sue. Sue Phelan is a certified SCORE volunteer mentor. She specializes in marketing strategy, sales, branding, and website strategies, particularly in the healthcare and education industries. Her goal is to help you define and quantify the target audience demand. She also works with you to help you to create your company's brand by helping you develop the sales message, website layout, and social media personality. Her goal is to empower you by helping you gain a better comprehension of your market and the best way to reach them in order to spur sales. After moving to Houston in 1979, she began her career in marketing in the healthcare industry. She then moved into sales for a subsidiary of Control Data Corporation, and during the course of her career with the company, She won their highest recognition for sales performance. Moving back into marketing, she then worked in the nonprofit industry, developing and implementing programs at elementary schools. As a private consultant, she worked with Rice Global Engineering and Construction Forum, as well as with small businesses. We have a fourth person, Jenny, and we'll start our question and answer format, and then when Jenny comes in, I can introduce her and we can pose some questions to her. So Tim, you've been in Houston now you moved from Oklahoma City 4 years ago?
4.5.
Okay. So, so you've been with the SBA how long?
I've been with SBA, I guess, about 12 years.
Okay, I'm not trying to stump you or anything. I'm just trying to ease into this a little bit.
Well,
so
you have to do some math. That's not easy.
So you've seen a lot of things. I know you've seen a lot of things. You've seen a lot of things in Oklahoma City and Oklahoma, but you've also started to see some things here in Texas, and I know you went through Hurricane Harvey.
Yes, sir.
But from your perspective, what big issues face small business in Houston today?
Okay. Before I answer, I actually want to do something. I want to take your picture. On the count of 3, I need a lot of smiles and waves. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Yeah, I see 3 things consistently in Houston.
Y'all should ask him what he's going to use that picture for.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Consistently what I see, first, I see small businesses, whether they're existing or they're brand new, that are pursuing money to help them start or grow. To get started, it takes some money to get started usually, but once you have started, it takes more money to help you grow. If you just grow organically, you grow very slowly. So that's one of the number 1 things I see. Number 2, it's not really number 2, I think they're equal in importance, is finding customers. I've got my business, now how am I going to grow it? I can't, you find maybe I can go get a loan, but who are the customers that are going to consume my product or use my services? How do I find them? How do I grow that part of what I do? And those are 2 things that we consistently see and that we help quite a lot with. A third one that is especially pronounced right now is how do I attract and retain the best folks for my small business? Those are consistently the top 3. I gloss over everything, so I say everything else is just a detail. But those 3 things are the consistent ones that face small businesses in Houston.
How do you think SBA helps with those matters?
Okay, good question. When it comes to capital, when it comes to finding money, right this minute, and please don't get up and leave, on the other side of Houston, we are doing a speed dating event for money. So there will be about 25 lenders in this room, all sitting at different tables. And what we're doing is taking small business folks like you. When you come in the door, we find out how much money are you looking for, what are you going to do with it, and what's your credit score. And then we match you with the banks or the non-banks, there's more than just banks that lend money, that are a good fit for your business. Let's say you've got a credit score of 680 and you need $250,000 to open a daycare. And it's going to be, well, it doesn't matter. Then we will make sure that we send you to those lenders in that room that are interested in that kind of an opportunity for someone with a 680 credit score that's willing to loan that amount of money. So that you maximize your time at that event. You get to go sit down with Sarah and spend 15 minutes. You only get 15 minutes, you got to be prepared, and explain to Sarah what you are doing and what you need and why you need it. And if there's any basis for you to continue, then you'll exchange information. And after that matchmaking event, our goal, my goal, is that you will have at least 3 or 4 lenders that are good contacts for you. We do one of those almost every month, and we also do them specifically and only for women. So we only do 2 or 3 of those a year, but we do those, and we try our very best to have only women bankers working with women businesses. Now, the other thing that we do, we don't do as commonly or as often, but we also do similar kind of events, but for business. So we're working on an event that will happen in March. So if you're not signed up on my website for my information, you need to go there. Just Google SBA Houston. In March, we will have an event where there will be about 50 large corporations and government agencies, and they will be looking for small businesses to do business with. Our target is to have 500 small businesses attend the event. We will be using special software to make sure that we accomplish the same goal as we do with the lender matchmaking, where you say, I'm Tim's small business and I do lawn care and I do painting. We will only set up appointments for you with businesses that are specifically looking for folks doing lawn care and painting, so that you go there, you maximize every minute you're there, and our goal is that you walk away, if not with a contract, then you walk away with a good contact that is interested in developing a contract with you with that large company. So we will be doing that in March. It's going to be a big deal. And we usually do a couple of smaller ones throughout the year as well. So specifically on helping you find money, that's one of the ways we do that. And specifically on finding new customers, then we do the business matchmaking. On the aspect of money, we also, now this is a colloquial expression, but we co-sign your loan. We guarantee the loans. So if you talk to a banker that does SBA guaranteed lending, as a small business, you may not have a lot of collateral. You may not have a lot of cash in the bank. But what you will have is the SBA that's willing to guarantee the loan that the bank gives to you. What that means to the bank is that you are now a lot less risky, because if the worst thing in the world happens and you can't pay back that loan, then the SBA will pay back a portion of it, usually 75%. So to the bank, that means that they are covered for at least 75% of the loan. So we try to create a climate where it's easier for you to find funding and it's easier for you to find business. Last year, we did around $1 billion, it's going to be, of loans to small businesses here in the Houston market.
It's a big operation. It keeps me in business. Quite candidly it does. I mean, I've got a staff of 6 people that we do 30, 35 applications a month. So it's a big thing. It's major. What else should the audience know about the SBA and how the SBA can help them?
Something that is not well known, and you definitely should know, is that nationwide, but I'm focusing here in Houston, we have 3 organizations that we work with that are available to help you with your small business. And guess what they charge you? 0. Okay, you didn't say it, but she held up a, 0. So first, the University of Houston Small Business Development Centers. There are 15 of them. Here in the metro, I think I saw Lee Vera. Lee Vera, how many in the metro? 7?
How many centers?
Yeah.
No, there's 15.
Just in metro.
Oh, 7.
Yeah. So there's 7 right here in the metro, and the other 8 or maybe 7 are right outside of the metro, because my district is 32 counties. So what the SBDC, they'll do many things for you, and you just saw Lee Vera. Raise your hand again, Lee Vera. Everybody go see Lee Vera. She's outstanding. And they, for no charge, will take you on as a client, and they will help you with any issues you have getting started or growing your business. I don't think there's a limit to what they can do. They have a wonderful tool set that they can use to give you information that you don't have access to about, for instance, what the size of the market is for your business here in Houston, how your competitors, what level of success they're getting, things of that nature that are extraordinarily valuable. They also do all kinds of training. And I don't know how many training sessions you guys do a year, but it's a bunch. And
30 a month.
yeah, okay, 30 a month. So those training sessions, they do charge for those. But those are small fees. Those are generally 20, 30, 40 bucks. And that's mainly because they're providing you refreshments and that kind of thing. They're an outstanding organization. You can just Google Houston SBDC for Small Business Development Center. You'll find them. You should go see them. The SCORE organization. So this used to stand for Service Corps of Retired Executives. The SCORE is an outstanding organization. Here in Houston, there are about 130, 140 folks that volunteer their time at SCORE to help small businesses. They don't get paid in dollars, they get paid in seeing you succeed.
Sue is Sue's a SCORE mentor.
Yep, and Sue's gonna tell you a lot more about it. SCORE is pretty much blankets the city with folks. I mean, 140 mentors full-time. Now, the difference between SBDC and SCORE, one particular thing that you will see as a difference is that at SCORE, you can find people that have specific industry experience. For instance, I know that one of the folks in SCORE has a background in importing and exporting tea. That's pretty narrow. So if you were interested in doing anything in the tea business, well, you have an industry expert right here in SCORE. And there are multiple industries that they represent. So again, if you Google SCORE Houston, you'll find them, you'll know all about it. And then we have a women's business center here in Houston. They actually do take men as clients, but the majority of their clients are women. It's staffed by women. They're just on the north side of the Galleria here. And they're a smaller organization than the other two, but they do a great job. And they're, again, if you just want to Google Women's Business Center Houston, you'll find it. And Shirley Brooks runs that organization and does a brilliant job.
Yeah, she's excellent. She's really excellent.
Yeah, so between those three organizations, it's something on the order of 250 folks available to help you at no charge. Please use them.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, Matt, you're up. I know you want to talk about the Skills for Small Business program this morning. So tell us a little bit about that. What is the Skills for Small Business Grant Program?
Yeah, and before I hop into that, I'd like to just gauge a little bit of the audience. So how many folks in the audience have an idea and are trying to start a business? Okay, perfect. And how many folks already have a business, but they're the sole proprietor, they don't have any other employees? Okay. And how many folks have a small business and have at least one full-time employee? Okay, perfect. So the Skills for Small Business program is a workforce training program. It's offered by the Texas Workforce Commission, and we partner with local community colleges in your area. And this would give you an opportunity to send some of your full-time employees to receive training and get upskilling. So for instance, Houston Community College is a vital partner, Lone Star is a vital partner, and even San Jacinto College just right outside the metro. But this gives you an opportunity, again, to send some of your employees to receive training and upskill. If they are eligible and they qualify, there's obviously some parameters. They are eligible for $1,800 of training in a calendar year, and those are for new employees. So anyone from the date you submit the application 12 months back, if they were hired within that period, they're eligible for $1,800. So those would be considered new employees. Existing employees, folks who have been with the company for longer than 12 months, they're going to be eligible for half of that amount. And again, we're targeting small businesses here, so more mom and pop shops. We do look at your global footprint, so if you are attached to a larger corporation, we're going to look at total number of employees globally. And again, that's targeting one full-time employee to 99. So essentially anything under 100 full-time employees would grant you eligibility.
Do the funds go directly to the business, and how does the contract work?
Yeah, so the funds do not go directly to the business. The contracts work between TWC and those individual institutions, the community colleges or technical schools in your area. Once those contracts are established, businesses in that area kind of serve as the benefactor of those funds, and they can apply to take advantage and apply for different training courses. I will mention the courses that are available for training are actually the courses that are provided by those colleges. So if you are interested, one of the best places to start, if you don't have a relationship with your college, that's a wonderful place to start. But also look at their course catalog, get familiar what they do offer and what they don't. And again, sometimes there's some non-published courses that aren't on their course catalog. So again, having a rapport and a relationship with your college is pretty vital. This covers credit courses, non-credit courses, online, and again, non-published. And again, the spectrum of courses available is pretty large, from industry-specific, like CAD, architecture courses, or bookkeeping, office management, leadership. A lot of employers nowadays, especially with younger millennial folks, say that soft skills are in dire need, and you can use the Skills for Small Business funds for soft skills training.
Okay, so I'm used to filling out SBA loan packages, and so I'm used to the application process. So we get asked, what's, all the time, habitually, it's what's the cost and how long is it going to take? So I do have to ask you about what's the application process look like? How long does it normally take?
Yeah, we understand being a small business owner is hard. It can be grueling. So we try to make the process as simple and as easy as possible. I know it's 2019, but we just finally got the application online last year, so you don't have to fill out a Word doc or fax it in anymore. This helps efficiency, especially with our contracts team. There's not as much back and forth. Now with the DocuSign application online, you can't actually submit the application unless all the appropriate fields are filled out, which we've seen it help tremendously in the amount of applications we've received and processed. Again, application is online. Once you fill out and submit the application, it typically takes about 2 weeks to hear back whether you've been deemed eligible or we need to work on something. I would, if you are interested, I would encourage you to submit an application about a month or a month and a half out from the training date. So again, if training started September 1st, I would encourage you to have the application filled out and submitted by August 1st. That gives us a little leeway in case there is anything we need to confirm or go over or possibly change. That just gives us a little bit of time to ensure that the training can be successfully executed.
Is there a cost for the application?
There is not.
Okay.
There is not. And again, work with your college. A lot of those, especially if they already have a contract, they're very knowledgeable about the process and they can help you fill it out. They can help you identify SOC codes, which are 6-digit codes that coordinate to a specific job title. And they can help you with prevailing wage. Is anyone familiar with prevailing wage in the audience? Okay, so that is another parameter that I'll just go over real quick. So there is a wage requirement, and I'll just give you an easy example here. So if there was an entry-level plumber and he was making $10 an hour, and an experienced plumber in the workforce area made $20 an hour, we're going to be looking for the 25th percentile of those wages. So in order to be eligible, that person would need to be paid $12.50 an hour. And that just helps keep, obviously, wages competitive in the area. And those will vary. They'll obviously be the same for the Houston area. The way Texas is set up, there's 28 individual workforce development boards. And each one of those development boards is obviously going to have different wage parameters. But Houston and the surrounding area is all the Gulf Coast Workforce Board.
How much funding does the program receive a year?
So our funding is actually a part of the Skills Development Fund, and they receive about $17 to $19 million a year. However, there's several other programs who take funding from that. So we receive about $2 million a year, which we typically execute close to that amount in a fiscal year. In fiscal year 2019, we did $1.8 million of training statewide with over 550 applications. Both of those numbers are greater numbers than FY18, so the program is definitely growing. I think the online application has assisted with that. And we've tried to increase our marketing campaign. As Scott mentioned, I work for the governor's office, and I had never heard of these programs. Now, granted, I wasn't necessarily working with small businesses, but again, this is a vital resource to help you grow your business and grow your individual employee. So if you do have full-time employees, I encourage you to at least take a look and explore your options.
So you don't run out of money, you don't really run out of money?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not.
Okay. And so I'm just kind of curious, do funds, if you don't use the 200,000 you didn't use last year, does that roll over to the next year? Or is it
Yeah, it actually rolls back into the Skills Development Fund.
Okay.
And
That's nice.
yeah. So they have a little bit better track record of getting all their funds out. Their projects are a little bit larger, $500,000.
Okay.
And just for reference, the minimum amount for a contract between TWC and a college is only $21,000. But again, that's still a pretty good amount of money, especially when you consider $1,800 or $900 of funding for your individual employees. I think you'd be shocked at the amount of training that can be received with that amount of funding. And that's just per calendar year. So, you know, if you had that new employee and they were deemed eligible for $1,800, once that calendar year rolls around, that next year they're eligible for the $900 that next year, and the year after, and the year after that.
Okay, so last but not least, why would you encourage small businesses to participate in the program?
Our chair says that she says employers have asked her, well, what if I train my employees and they leave? And she says, well, what if you don't train them and they stay? And that's very true. You know, it's just, you're investing in your company, you're investing in your employees and your workforce. I think it also shows a sign of commitment to your employees, that you believe in them and that you believe that they're the right fit for your company. He mentioned earlier how hard it is to find and retain skilled workers. But if you already have quality workers, and the state's willing to pay for the funding to get them upskilled, then that's a perfect way to retain those folks and upskill them at the same time. So again, I think it'll help productivity, it'll help efficiency, and again, it's just a way to invest in your individual employees.
Okay, so I've been doing SBA work, as I said, for 30 years now, and so I know of SCORE, and it's a very fine organization, but I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about SCORE this morning. So what is, for those in the room that don't know, and probably that's going to be most people, I think, they probably heard of, maybe a lot of them have heard of SCORE, but maybe they don't quite understand it. So I'd like you to kind of fill us in, connect the dots on that. What is SCORE and who do you serve?
Okay, do you mind if I stand up? Because I just feel a little better standing up so everybody can see me. And I wanted
You want
to
to come up here?
No, I don't want to be, I don't want to take the spot there. But do you mind if I also take a picture of you? Okay, because you're a very good-looking crowd.
Start with something here, Tim.
While I'm doing this, let me explain to you that we at SCORE, let's just say that we pride ourselves on being seasoned, highly seasoned volunteers. I tell everyone I'm a little more salt than pepper, unfortunately, so that's the way it is. But we're a national organization with more than 10,000 volunteers, and our headquarters are in the DC area. We've got, I think, a total overhead of 13 employees. And in the Houston area, as Tim said, we've got 138 and growing volunteers. And we specialize in all of the disciplines of business. So that means, for your purposes, we have lawyers. In multiple fields, we have like a bankruptcy lawyer, an intellectual property lawyer, a regular corporate lawyer. We have marketing specialists. I'm one of them, so we have a team of them. We have finance guys. We have accountants. Many of our volunteers they have MBAs. Some of them have PhDs. So, and we see such a wide variety of client walking in the door, and we want to be able to help everyone who has a dream meet their goals, and we provide the support for that. Being an entrepreneur, I think, is such a calling because you take the air and you turn it into something that we can enjoy, and we admire that. And we want to support it. And so we want you to come in. We've got 14 offices throughout the greater Houston area. 2 of them allow you to just walk in the door without an appointment. The others, I mean, it's by appointment. Right now, would you like to ask the next question?
Sure.
Because that's the
I
next
told you,
question.
I told you to pick me.
I do want to say though
Cool.
that he is amazing. What he's doing is amazing. I was like, why wouldn't you send your employees?
Does everybody,
You're getting free training, man.
yeah, I kind of don't understand everything that goes on with the state, and I mean, to be perfectly honest, too. I mean, it's great information on that.
Yeah.
But Sue, do you think everybody knows what SCORE stands for, the acronym?
Well, it started out in the Service Corps of Retired Executives, but we're trying to change that because we're now, so many people have, they want to share their talent and they want to make the world a better place, and so our volunteers are a little younger now. and we're working that in, so they don't all necessarily volunteer all the time and in the same way, but they want to serve the community. And so we're just SCORE, because we're going to help you score.
So I know you like to begin your talks with disaster preparedness topics, but so what's your topic for today then?
Okay, so SCORE has this year, we have partnered with the Texas Division of Emergency Management. And our goal is to build disaster resilience for small business. And a lot of you were just thinking of starting a business, you have an idea. Some of you were in business. And this year alone, we have had so many floods. And we haven't even had a hurricane. And so what we realized is that there's a lot of information out there on disaster preparedness for small business. But a small business person does not have a lot of time. And nor do you have the inclination to write a 60-page disaster preparedness document, plan, or continuity of operation plan. So what we've done is we've distilled it into 4 pages of checklists. And he was talking about making sure that your employees feel as though they're valued. Right now it's very hard to hire people because there are not very many people out there to hire. Well, what we're doing today is, marketing is all about giving someone a gift as well, and I'm a marketing person. So I brought a gift for you. They're upstairs on Tim's table, because he's our dude. So this side is an emergency checklist for all of your employees, okay? Because they are the lifeblood of your business, okay? If they can't come back to work, your business is gone. This side is a small business disaster go bag. What you need to have documented, what you need to have if your business floods, okay? So I'd like you to go upstairs and take a copy. And also, I'd like you to go online to our website, which is houston.score.org, and do those checklists.
And so what's your advice to a small business when dealing with social media?
Okay, so, social media is in. It's here to stay. And this is our medium today. But at the end of the day, you still need the fundamentals. What I would like you to consider, today you are here, you are networking, am I right? Okay? You're coming up to me, I've had many people come up to me and tell me what their vision is for their business. What you're doing on social media is simply doing it in hyperdrive, okay? The difference is that social media is a very staccato communication system. And by that I mean there's always time between, a time lag between how you communicate with me and how I communicate with you. But it's still important for you to know who you're talking to. And more important, you need to make sure that you're at a party today. You don't want to be that person at the party that nobody wants to talk to because they're boring. You don't want to be that person that's up there going, I me, I me, I me. Who cares? Everybody walks away from that dude, right? So social media, you need to still think of it in terms of people. It's just a different communication channel. But it's still people that you're talking to. And you need to make sure that when you're talking to them, it's something they're interested in. Right? So you need to still build the rapport, just like you do in every sales situation. You build a rapport by saying, oh, who are you? What do you like? I like that too. So that you're their friend. Social media, you should be making friends first and selling later. Because in social media, when you make the friendship, you build the trust. And then you sell. Don't be the bore at the party.
You gotta nurture the relationship,
Absolutely.
cultivate the relationship.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. So there's actually 14 SCORE offices. I mean, that's just amazing to me. 14 SCORE offices around town.
Yeah, it's all volunteer driven.
And the
We're
main
a
one's on-
very low budget operation.
The main one's on Gessner, right?
Yeah, Gessner and the Southwest
Right,
Freeway.
where the SBA is.
Yeah,
Right. That's impressive.
yeah. Thank you. But you know, one of the things, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the fundamentals of marketing have not changed, okay? It's still customer, competitor, and company. And at SCORE, what we're trying to do is build your critical thinking skills, right? Because we're not going to be next to you when you're out there bobbing and weaving, because that's what entrepreneurs do, right? Threats and opportunities present all the time, and you need to be able to recognize the threat and dodge it, and recognize the opportunity and seek it, seize it, right? And so what we try to do is make sure that you still understand nobody sells to everybody. What you're trying to do, especially those guys who are just thinking of starting, I want you to start thinking of who your ideal clients are. And take a step back and say, why would they choose me? What's the value proposition? You have to continually keep abreast of what the competition is doing, because that's the free market. We're not static. This ball is rolling, and it's rolling faster every day, especially nowadays, right? I want you to think the third part is, what is your goal for your company? What are the things you want to do? What are the things that matter to you? Because guess what? That's what's going to be that voice, that brand. That voice on the social media, that brand that everybody understands, the one they're going to come to, right? That's what you're trying to do. So you need to understand those three issues and work them out. And we've got some worksheets. And then after you figured that out, we can help you come up with your sales. I'm a salesman. I love selling. You need a sales vocabulary though, because nobody, on social media, you better have that silver bullet word. After you've made that friend, you have to have the word that really hits the mark, and they say, I will click on that. And so I can help you with that. We can help you with that, and that's our goal. Because there are no successful businesses without customers. And even more important, there are no successful businesses without customers that buy. And marketing is about the total experience today. That's why we talk about the trust. That's why we talk about, the first sale you make is the most expensive sale you make with that customer. When they make a rebuy on you, you're making more profit. So that's why we want them to keep coming back and telling people more about you. So come see us. We're very seasoned. We've got, truly, we do have specialists. If you're in a restaurant, we have a restaurant guy, okay? We've got them all. So come on by, and thank you very much for coming. And pick up one of these, because I brought you a present.
Houston traffic.
Yes.
And I understand.
Yeah, that's
I
for
love
sure.
to stand.
Let me tell them a
Yeah,
little
sure,
bit.
I can't,
let me-
like, see, like, right here, and that's it.
Let me tell them a little bit about you, and then we'll get into your questions. Jenny Dufresne
Yes, thank you.
is CEO of Dufresne Solutions Group. It's a leadership training firm that supports CEOs and mid-level managers, building great teams, reducing employee turnover, and creating a thriving company culture. Jenny served 10 years in the United States Marine Corps. As a trailblazing leader, she founded one of the first all-male public charter elementary schools in the U.S. Jenny writes about her experience in her best-selling book, From Empty to Overflow. The book is written for women leaders who desire to create harmonious lives and lead well. Jenny holds degrees from Harvard University and George Mason University, and she's going to talk about company culture this morning. And so, what is company culture, and why does it matter so much?
Awesome. So before I jump into the question, thank you.
You can
and
take a
thank
picture.
You for, yes, well, I'm going to take a picture, too. Y'all should get ready.
Movie stars.
But you're going to have some jazz hands. So just so you know, I'm putting you on alert right now. One, just thank you for please apologize my tardiness, and for everyone. I apologize for being late. I drove from Austin, and somehow I got 45 minutes added to my commute this morning, so wasn't expecting that.
You were driving in Houston.
Yes, and Austin's traffic is bad, I don't know. But anyway, so I want to do again, another poll. How many of you are in business between 0 and 1 year? Just raise your hand. Throw them up too, like excited I'm an entrepreneur, so I can see. Okay, great. 2 to 5 years? 5 and more? And everyone who did not raise your hand, are you just learning? Go ahead, throw them up. Okay, awesome. So it's good to be, wherever you are in your journey is exactly where you're supposed to be. And so for everybody from 0, so that's I'm learning, I'm trying to figure out, I want to have a business. And the other thing is I'm so excited to see so many amazing faces and women, it's great. So wherever you are in the journey, it's never too late to start thinking about your company culture, because it starts with one person, you, the leader. So what is company culture? It's really the behaviors, it's the way we do things in our organization or our company, right? It's, do we tolerate tardiness or do we not tolerate tardiness, right? So it can be, what's our interaction? What's our relationship look like? Do we hug? Are we a company that we hug in the morning? So that might be good when you're starting, but as you get bigger, that may not be something that you want to continue to have, right? Because you can have some lawsuits around that. So, but you have to kind of figure out what kind of company culture. If you're currently working somewhere, you may notice that the company culture feels very stiff, or maybe it's really loosey-goosey, depending again on what kind of industry you're in, what kind of environment has been created by other leaders, by not only your CEOs, but also the next level down, the mid-level guys. But it's really about the behaviors. How do we do things here? How do we interact here? And you can tell a culture that is having some challenges if you have high employee turnover, if you have low productivity, if you have really high costs, things are costing more than they should because there's an inability to make decisions, there's lots of different kind of issues that start to happen that are an indication that your company culture has, it might be on the operating table and needs to get some doctor work.
What are the 7 culture building blocks leaders must ensure happen?
Fantastic. So make sure you got your pens out. And again, no matter where you are, the 7 that I'm going to talk about now are going to resonate at some point. They can resonate right now as you're thinking about what kind of business do you want to have. They can resonate if you're 5 years in, 10 years in, what have you. So the first one, I had a cheat sheet. And I'll also tell you how to get this cheat sheet too. So the first one is having a vision. So what's the vision for your company, right? What's the vision for your company? That's the first part of your culture, and I'll tell you why that becomes really important as you go along. The second is your core values. Those, as you're starting out now, you may have specific core values that you hold fundamentally as a human being. And you may want those to be part of how your company works. And that's to start. They can change over time, but you want some values, some kind of direction finding, right? What helps us figure out where we are in the world? The third is your purpose, or your company's purpose. Now, we all hear a lot about purpose, but sometimes we don't think really about what's my company's purpose. It serves people, right? It creates great products or services. So you want to really understand what your purpose is, because it's something that you as the leaders need to be able to enroll people in every minute of every single day, especially as you're growing. So that's you're enrolling not only your customers, your potential customers, but you're also enrolling your team members, whether they're volunteer team members or they are the folks that you're paying. You want to be able to enroll them. And it doesn't matter if they're friends or family, you still need to enroll them in what the purpose is. Now, the fourth is one that I've added over time working with, in our company, working with leaders all across the country. And that is inclusion and diversity. So this is a place where everybody's like, yeah, whatever. But here's the deal. Great companies are highly profitable, are stable, when they have a diversity of perspectives, so in the people that are there, perspectives, gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, the whole gamut, geography, the whole gamut. Imagine standing in a room with the people that have 10 different perspectives, youth, age, so you have the whole perspective, right? And so imagine how powerful that makes your company. It can speak to lots of different people, one, but also your problem solving. You're figuring out how do we put this product or service out into the marketplace. The more perspectives you have, the better. We also know there's examples of a lack of diversity and inclusion in companies. Uber comes to mind right off the bat, where they had a culture and behavior of kind of frat boy things and kept women out of opportunities. And ultimately, it caused the founding CEO to be removed from his company, right? So it's really important to think intentionally. Diversity doesn't happen because I'm African American or I'm a woman. It doesn't happen just because I'm that person. I have to intentionally think about how to build it in my company. Does that make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. A lot of companies are like, oh, it doesn't really matter. It matters. The bottom line matters. The next is engagement. Next part of your culture building is engagement. So it's a lot like what Sue was talking about around social media and marketing. We have come to sort of this way of being that's kind of like, everyone's over there and I'm over here. Engagement is critical to the health and well-being of your company. And health and well-being is your employees stick, stay, and sustain your organization. So you want to be always being able to engage them. How do you engage them? Not just that, we're going to have our once a month fun day, but really every single day. How are you as a leader engaging your people? What are you saying to them? How are you greeting them? How are you interacting? How are you getting their ideas? How are you keeping them in the ideas of what's happening with the company? So you want to be able to do that, engage your people. The next is innovation. And as I was driving down here, I'm actually a serial entrepreneur. I'm involved in 3 businesses right now. Leadership, real estate investment, so if you know people that want to sell a house, see me. And also a construction company. And so one of the things that's really important is always innovating. And as I was driving down here, I was listening to a podcast, because as leaders we should always be educating ourselves. I was listening to a podcast about real estate investing, and specifically a new technique that this particular group of people in Mississippi are using to talk to people. It's very cutting edge. It's using text, if you can imagine that. But it's very cutting edge because it's an area that people aren't thinking about for that particular reaching into people. So in your business, no matter what it is, if you're making cupcakes, if you're rehabbing houses, if you're building cars, whatever it is, you always want, as the leader, you want to be innovating. You want to be thinking about where's the, in terms of your competition, what are they doing? And then what is there something else we need to do? Or what are our customers saying to us? What are our customers saying to us that they need from us? Right? Sometimes the mistake we make in business is we create the thing that we think we want or we like, as opposed to what our customers need. So that's kind of the innovation, always having a culture of innovation and thinking about that. And finally is communication. Getting your messages out as a leader is critical. Every single day, all the time, not only internally, but also externally. That way there's no mistakes about where we're going and why we're here.
What about, you want to cover the 3 leader habits critical for a great culture?
Yes, and before I do that, raise your hand if you'd like a guide, like the 7 things that I just sent you. Would you like a guide of that?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so you have to whip out your text, whip out your phones, or just write this down. I need you to text to 44222. So that's 2 4s and 3 2s.
44222.
Yep. And then the word is going to be culture now. All one word. CULTURENOW. Culture now. And if your neighbor didn't get it, help her or him out. That'll give you a little bit of information. Also is included is a culture quiz. So you can just kind of take that quiz in terms of, it'll give you a sense of where you are currently or where your current company is. But it'll give you just a little idea to figure out where am I, and then I give you those 7 building blocks. Okay, so moving on to a robust, what are the 3 leader habits? The first is what I kind of talked about, is you have to lead the vision. So you have to know what the vision is, and every single day you have to walk it and you have to talk it. No exceptions. If you don't, who's doing it? Right? And if they're doing it, what are they doing? So your job as a leader is to lead the vision, talk it and walk it every single day. The other is be relentlessly in action every day around your culture. So those 7 things, you want to make sure that you're touching them every single day. You may be talking about what's our purpose in a morning meeting. You may be going and visiting one of your employees' desks or one of your customers and talking again about why we're here, what's our vision for serving that customer. And then the next habit and the final habit, and I talked about this already, is enroll and engage everyone all the time. That's your customers because they bring you business, and then your internal folks help you continue to move the ball forward. Okay?
Fantastic. I think we have some time for